In bodybuilding, if the exercise isn't feeling well, what does the bodybuilder do? He's doing another exercise and he's not going to the problem.
Yeah.
In every other sport, people are practicing one particular thing forever. If you are a tennis player, you're doing your forehand for years.
Yeah.
You don't say, my forehand isn't good, I just play backhand now.
Yeah. What is going on, people? Jumping in on this podcast to let you know about our incredible sponsors, Trained by JP, aka TBJP, the one-stop shop for all your bodybuilding needs. Whether you're looking for supplements or clothing, they have it all. Quite possibly the biggest range of subs you will find anywhere in the world, end of. Whether you're looking for pre-workouts, stim-free or high-stim, intra-workout shakes, post-workout cream of rices, vegan supplements, it is all there for you, as well as the highest grade of health subs that you will need in your arsenal. Check them out. It's www.tb-jp.com, and on there you will also find all the clothing which they release multiple times per year, but get your hands on them quick because they are limited drops. Use the discount code MAGIC10 for money off. Help the brother out, and let's get back to the podcast. Peace. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Beautiful Struggle podcast with myself, Jay Davis, aka Magic Eye, and we are back in the studio with a very, very special guest, someone that I have known about for some years now, and he's well respected in the industry, but I wouldn't say he's been one of the trending coaches. You know, the fitness industry and especially the bodybuilding culture, there are trends with whether that be training styles, nutrition approaches, and then you get the coaches then who are the talk of the town. You know, you've got the Hani Rambods, you've got the Milos, Matt Jansons, but one name that has always crept up in the background to myself is Boss of Outlaw, aka Stefan. And just with the circles that I've been kind of rolling around with Jordan, etc., the name Boss of Outlaw or Steph has always been someone that has been brought up as, like I said, a well-respected coach. And over the last 12 months, I would say, I've got to see him in action firsthand when I've been overseas. Obviously, he started coaching Nathan as well, so I've been around him a little bit more there as well. And to see how he acts, how passionate he is for not only just the bodybuilding sport in general, but also his clients. So I'm very proud to announce we've got Steph on the podcast today. Welcome to the Beautiful Struggle, man.
Hello out there. I'm happy to be here.
I appreciate it.
We planned to record in Birmingham.
Yeah.
It would have been better sound, I think, so I hope my sound quality is okay.
Yes.
But there was no time, so we are here now over the distance.
Yeah, you were a busy boy that weekend anyway with Wesley and
it was.
So I was thankful that you were willing to actually do it in the first place, but you know, like schedules just clash in and everything, so it's all good. And we've managed to do it now because obviously at that time I was still doing the podcast in person. But I've kind of made the decision the last few weeks that I do need to take them online to bring the likes of yourself and many others across the world really onto the podcast. So it just opens more doors being able to do this and use this to my advantage. So I do appreciate you giving me your time today, mate, because I know how busy you are. I've seen it.
You're warmly welcome.
So first of all, I just want to ask the question, which I'm sure many others are asking. What does Boss of Outlaw mean? Where's that come from?
That's a very, very interesting story. I have nothing to do with motorcycle clubs or with the Hells Angels or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the older ones can remember. I would say back in 2007 or 2008, the IFBB amateur had his first big fight.
Okay.
Because some of the people, especially Paul Duke Chow, he was the Asian president, of the IFBB,
Right.
and the European financial president, which was Axel Bauer back then. He was vice president for Europe, and I would say the financial guy. They split up with the IFBB. It was the European Championship in Novi Sad. I have no idea if it was 2007, 8, or 9.
Yeah.
But there was a big fight. And as I was near with Axel Bauer, because, he was the IFBB Austria president until that time, and I competed at the IFBB.
Okay.
I was never thinking about getting a pro bodybuilder because my genetics was just too shit. I also never dreamed of getting so far as a coach because I just did what I loved back then, and the scene was totally different. So I said, okay, my friend Axel is doing a new federation, so I go with him.
Okay.
Fast forward, then I went to NABBA, but all of that was really, really a big problem for the IFBB president, who got president after Axel.
Right.
So I was banned from all the shows. I even wasn't allowed to go to the public. My athletes were banned. But so I was quite of an outlaw.
Right. Okay.
Because I had no right to go there and all that stuff. But soon I had, I would say, all the bodybuilders of Austria under my wings. And so they all competed at NABBA.
Yeah.
And so I was somebody, it was little Michael 𝘗𝘳𝘏𝘗𝘿, who founded the name Boss of Outlaw, because we were all banned. All good bodybuilders in Austria were banned.
No way.
So we were the outlaws, and that was how the name was founded.
And that's going back to what, 2008, 2009. So you've been in the game a long time.
2005.
2005. Was that when you were competing yourself or when you started coaching?
I started coaching, I would say, in the second half of 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were competing from what year did you start doing your competing? I
started training and all that stuff, I would say, I think 2001, something about that.
2001.
I think first show was 2004.
Yeah.
Something about that. But I recognized quite fast that because of my health issues I have my whole life, I was not supposed to get a good bodybuilder. And then it's a funny story, because my first coaching client is now one of my closest business partner. He's the owner of Top Body Gyms.
Okay, yeah.
Where we always train. And when I came back, it was 2006 when I started coaching. When I came back from the World Championship, I competed 2006. I had a car accident.
Right. Okay.
So I had no more possibility to get to the gym, because I was living in the 5th district. Back then, we all trained at Top Gym, which was with public transport a 1.5 hours ride on the other side of the city.
Wow.
So Sasha always picked me up at home and drove me to the gym.
Right.
And then he said, I want competing.
Yeah.
And he said, I know you competed. Can you help me? And I said, yeah, I will help you when you pick me up and drive me home every day.
Yeah. Favor for a favor.
So that started, and it went quite well. And so the passion for coaching was founded. So actually, I'm coaching now nearly 20 years, let's say 18.
18, 20 years. Yeah. It's a long time in the coaching game. I imagine from when you first started coaching then to see where the industry has gone from then when you first started coaching to where it is now and what it's become. And obviously
it's totally nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. It must be. Obviously the online coaches popping up here, there and everywhere. How does that affect yourself in terms of, like, do you get frustrated by some of the coaching popping up?
Not really. As I would say, I'm such an old school guy from the time before where everything was driven by passion.
Yeah.
You know? And I also have to say, I just had luck that the IFBB split up. you know, because from the time the IFBB was separated from the NPC, the outlaw had the chance to do his work.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and in that time period, when was that big? I think 2009. When was it? 18, 19?
2018.
Yeah, something like that. In that time, I count now 33 pro wins, so it went quite fast.
Yeah.
If I would never had got that possibility to go there, or that the pro cards are done, because imagine the system would have been the same than before. I would never had the chance to coach an IFBB pro or make an IFBB pro.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that old federation just was so political that I wouldn't have the chance. So from that perspective, I say I'm super, super happy how everything changed in the time.
Yeah.
For sure that online coaches, or that, you know, I'm 19 years old and I'm a bodybuilding coach. For me, it's more a little bit funny. There's just one point where I get really sad and really, not only sad, I would also say upset.
Yeah.
Those coaches or that guy, they promise their clients thing they never can hold.
Yeah, they never deliver.
They never deliver.
Yeah.
They all, because they have no, you know, they just have no experience in life also. Yeah. It's not only about bodybuilding. They don't know how consequences deal out.
Yeah.
You know, they want to coach to get people to get pro. They have never talked to a pro.
Yeah.
You know, they think some things are necessary to get there without even knowing what is there.
Yeah, well, that's because of Instagram, isn't it? Because
you know, that's a little bit the point. And I see a lot of destroyed physiques. I see a lot of destroyed health. I see a lot of destroyed minds.
Yeah.
Because of people just have no clue what they do.
Yeah, sometimes it's like you said, it's the coaching experience is a major part of being a coach, but the other side, or the other side of the coin, is the life experience, the things that you've obviously been through yourself to know how to deal with certain situations, like outside of the gym, outside of competing, the stuff that
the consequences of life.
Yes, yeah. I can imagine it's frustrating. Must be. While we're on the topic of competing, we're so early in 2024 and you've had such a successful year. So I just want to say congratulations on the wins and everything you've had. Obviously this weekend past, it was Martin over in Detroit.
Yes, it was Martin in Detroit, and also a third place at the Classic Physique Pro show in somewhere in California. I forgot the name.
Yes, I saw that one. Yeah, actually. So yeah, you're killing it, mate. I mean, I would say that you are the hot name in the game at the moment, because everyone is starting to, you know, when you're watching the podcast and the interviews, your name is starting to fall into these conversations that we hear every year. When you look back at your coaching, and obviously you've obviously seen the trends in coaches over the years as well. Mm-hmm. How does it feel for you to kind of have your name in that hat now alongside these other guys?
Actually, I don't think really about it.
No,
not
doesn't
really.
Faze you at all.
Nah, not really. You know, I always have visions. I have visions for my athletes. I have visions how they could get or how they should look like, and what revenue that look will bring.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I have in my head.
Yeah.
The second thing which I have in my head is the search for talent.
Okay.
Where I always strive for and take a look for and seeking for potential.
Yeah. Are you always on the lookout?
Yes. And the third thing is, but I would never, you know, there's a strange thing about myself. I would never ask someone, can I coach you?
Yeah, okay. You would never poach a client.
I just can't do that. But I'm really happy when athletes pop out, which comes to my third thing. Then I always thinking about, ask me? Can you ask me? Can you ask me?
Yeah.
So it's a combination of that.
Yeah.
So that's where most of my mind goes, I feel honored when people talk about me.
Yeah.
But that's just nothing which is in my focus. In my focus sounds strange, but it's just success. And success for me is placing in shows. Everything else, I don't bother.
Yeah, we can see that a mile off. I think anyone that's followed you and knows what you're about knows you're about the client first and the result, and then everything else after. Yeah. I was going to say something about the when someone asks you to coach them. So are you getting a lot more? You don't have to divulge any names in the industry, but are you getting a lot more of the kind of big names in bodybuilding?
Yes, I do, but still, there was a funny story. I don't want to say any names, but I was asked if I could coach someone, and I said, and bring him back on the winner's circle.
Okay,
and I said, maybe, but I need to see pictures first. I need to see what he does now, because he needs to get back to the shape he once had. And before I say if I can do it, I need to see.
Yeah.
3 days after I asked, hey, what's up? Where are the pictures? No, I talked to another coach. He said he can bring me back to the winner's circle.
Oh, no way.
So I went that way.
Right,
so
okay.
For me, even if it's a big name in the industry and they ask me, I want that it is my game.
Yes.
Because I know I just can't influence that in the way I want to influence that if it's my rules. Cool. And I don't want to promise things I just can keep. So I'm always a little bit not offensive in my promises.
Yeah, a bit dubious about like how they're looking. I think that says a lot about you, mate, just as your morals, where your morals lie, because I imagine 80-90% of other coaches out there, I think I know who you're talking about, because obviously I've been around you the last few months. If that person was to message them, they wouldn't hesitate to, I want to see how you look first. They would be like, yep, let's go. Before actually, like you said, is wanting to know how they look, etc. before you say, is it doable, I guess.
And I'm when I have bad sides on me or on myself, then I always put myself under incredible pressure.
Yeah.
So I must really stand behind the project. I must really believe in what I promised and in what I said. Otherwise, the pressure would kill me.
Yeah. Like I can understand that. I can relate to that, because sometimes the hardest thing to say is no, isn't it? When you're in that situation, because obviously you see the flashing lights of whoever is in your DMs that it could bring to you in terms of financial reward through the business as a coach, putting your name in the lights as well. But then again, what stress is that going to bring, as well as obviously the attention to you as a coach, isn't it?
And in the end, when I wake up in the morning, I don't want to be frustrated because it doesn't work out how I would like to have worked it out, just because I gave wrong promises, for example.
Yeah. I think that comes down to just your passion for this sport in general as well, though. Which everyone talks about how passionate you are about it. And I know from being obviously with Nathan, the passion that you've kind of reignited in him since obviously you've been coaching him. Because I know at one point Nathan was kind of he had one foot out the door at one point with bodybuilding and competing. And then obviously through whatever channels he got with yourself. And then all of a sudden, he's like, I want to get 20 pro wins before I retire. And it was like the spark had been lit again. How was, if we touch on that quickly, how did that originally happen, you and Nathan? Was it a case of him just dropping you a message, or had he gone through like anyone else?
I think it was a double. because Nathan was talking to Jordan about me. Nathan was talking to Urs about me.
Oh, okay.
So I think Urs or Nate and Jordan told me about, I would say, 2 or 3 months before, hey, Nathan chatted with me and he asked about you, and we said it would be a good idea that I could coach him, but then it always lasts a little. I would say 2 or 3 months later, he dropped a very funny first message.
I can imagine
because I needed, I really laughed a lot.
Was it a voice note?
Well, I wouldn't have understood, but I see if it was a WhatsApp or if it was oh fuck, how can I go to the beginning of a conversation?
Just keep scrolling, scroll right back.
All right, Stefan, bro. It's Nathan the Archer.
You can hear him saying it in a Scouse accent.
Who gave me your number? Just touching base really for a couple of things. See if you could help us with an off-season and hopefully contest prep.
Yeah. No, you guys nailed it. You guys nailed it.
It was 19th February last year.
So 19th of Feb was when you kind of started working together.
And he told me blah, blah, blah. And I also had a funny answer. I said, hey, Nathan, to clearly answer, you are Europe's best horse. So nothing but winning is acceptable.
Yeah, there you go. And the rest is history. What was that? That was about 15, 16 months ago then you've been working together.
Yes. Yeah. And I always was such a huge fan.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an incredible bodybuilder, and it's great to see, not only as like a fan of bodybuilding myself, but also a mate, just to see where he's at mentally with bodybuilding now. And
he's absolutely great, because I don't know how it's in UK, but in Europe, our part of Europe, they all say, Nathan, and they said to me, nah, don't do it. He's inconsequent and all that stuff. What the fuck? He's the most dedicated, straightforward, doing the fucking job guy I know.
Yeah, I think that's what the problem is because he's so
he never would go off diet or ask going off diet or something like that. He just does the fucking job. He is such an incredible bodybuilder, Also with his mindset.
Yeah. And that's come from obviously his upbringing and everything that he's been through in life. And again, going back to the life experience thing. But yeah, I think that's what people get scared of Nathan, really, just because he's so straight. That's why they say those things, is because they're scared of the fact that he's so driven and he's so straight to the point. It's just black and white with Nathan. There's no in between.
Yeah,
there's no bullshit.
He's a pure professional.
Yeah.
And there are really not many out there. I know a lot. You can believe me. There are really not many out there who can match with him in that thing,
Yeah, even at the top of the game with like the guys you coach.
Absolutely. But that's why I know that there is really, really, really room for improvement, even if he's not the youngest.
Yeah, because
the mind is there, The genetic for sure is, otherwise he wouldn't look like he looks.
Yes.
But the road isn't over yet, for sure.
No, definitely not. No, it's exciting because he's on prep now. So he's about 2 or 3 weeks in, maybe.
Something like that.
Oh, 2 or 3.
Always, with Nathan in the beginning, it's a soft going in.
Yeah. He's got to have a couple of parties first before he gets into prep.
We were talking about that Ibiza thing. Yesterday, actually, because of that FIBO shit and walking around and standing around, he really Actually, it's not a problem if an athlete loses some volume. It's part of the game. But for my taste, he lost too much volume over that weekend. So he got 2 rest days from cardio, and he got some nice kebab yesterday, so he was quite happy.
Yeah, he texted me this morning bragging about it because I'm on 0 carbs and he's having a big kebab and no motherfucker. Yeah, so he can get away with it though. He can get away with it. And obviously, after being working together for 15, 16 months now, you know how his body responds to
absolutely
food and how quick he can change as well. What with regards to like obviously the other clients that you've got on the books, I'm just gonna point to 3 of the names at the moment, which are, I guess, the main guys on the scene, as well as obviously Nathan, and that's Wesley, and Martin now.
William, you forgot William.
Oh, and William Bonac is on the team as well. I forgot. That's quite a new one though, isn't it?
December,
because I didn't know about it until me and Nathan were with William at FIBO on the Sunday. And he was obviously talking about yourself, and that's when I initially found out that William was on the team as well. So that's another one then. So these guys, obviously, you've not done a prep with William yet. You're about to go into that.
No, we really had to build back up the physique.
Yeah,
because he was below 100 kilogram when we started in November. He was really recovered. He was really well rested.
Yeah.
We went, I would say, in better shape than when we started, up to 110.
Okay.
We have now, I would say, 4 or 5 prep weeks, something about that, or 4. Yeah. We are down now at 1.7, and it really starts to have a good look.
Yeah, I saw you showed me the pictures of when he came to you.
Yeah, you have seen it. Oh, yeah.
You showed me the pictures in Germany and where he is now, which is a mad difference to what you've done with him. So, was there any reason why you took a step, like chilled and took a step back? Was it just?
I think it was a little bit like Nathan.
Lost the drive.
Yeah.
Mate, you're becoming the guy.
Too exhausted. Lost the drive. Lost the passion. Burned out.
Steph, you're becoming the guy that reignites the fire in all these bodybuilders, mate.
Maybe, but not official. But I also have, I would say, a really, really promising young one next to Martin. Yeah. So it's a good mixture, I would say. It's a good mixture of golden veterans.
Yeah.
With young and wild ones.
Yeah, they're all dangerous.
Yeah, they are all dangerous. Yeah, never count out anyone.
You're building quite the team now. With regards to like Wesley and Martin, obviously these are the guys that have competed most recently under yourself.
Yes.
And I've been there and watched apart from Martin's show the past weekend, but the other ones in terms of like the pre-judging to finals. Mm-hmm. I saw I watched an interview with Martin, and he was saying about like the tweaks and things that he did from pre-judging to finals. And then I also saw what you did there in the Arnolds with Wesley and 𝘱𝘱𝑧 with the tweaks from morning to finals as well. And I think a lot of it was to do with the mental side of things. Obviously, you made changes with the nutrition, but where did you like pick up on that in terms of like the mental switch that these guys needed to make for the finals? Where did you kind of get that from?
Could
you pick up on it when you were watching the prejudging? Could you just see it all of like on stage, their presence?
I'm very fast in analyzing things, so I immediately see which things are, and then sometimes athletes are quite angry to me because at the moment they still stand on stage, they have my feedback on their phone when they get off stage.
Yeah, okay.
And that feedback is direct and full force in the face.
Yeah.
If, for example, the right quad isn't tensed enough, okay, I will write that directly. I don't want to see that anymore.
Yeah.
So
the fine details like that.
It comes everything, and the second biggest factor is I know, because I've seen so many shows. I've seen so so many different types of bodies, so many different human beings, and I exactly know how everybody changes after prejudging.
Okay.
When all the pressure falls off.
Yeah, yeah.
The bad thing about that, in open they judge the finals, but in classic they never judge the finals.
Okay.
You can't simulate that psychological effect of cortisol releasing after the prejudging. So honestly, I still don't know how to deal that perfectly out, because the guys will always be better at the finals. Even without any change, even without anything, you will always see an improvement of 10%.
Yeah.
Just because cortisol is down. The second thing is that I really have a connection to my athlete, and I know exactly which triggers I have to pull, that I get the best out of them.
Yeah.
When they again step on stage, I remove all their doubts. I give them self-confidence. I tell them what wasn't good, what needs to be changed, and then I want to get that dominance on stage, because bodybuilding is judged by human beings, and human beings you can what is the English word? You can influence them.
Yeah. Okay.
You can influence them with your stage presence. You can influence them with your self-confidence you show on stage.
Yeah.
I was judged for about 10 years. I judged NABBA Universes, I judged NABBA Worlds, I was show promoter for the NABBA. So I was sitting on that other side quite often.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes I was questioning myself, why do I like that person on stage that much?
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to you go and think about that, and how people interact with you as a presenter and you as a judge, and then you work out your own things, how you can influence your athletes to influence with the judges to get the best out of the result. For example, a magic moment was really when Nathan had his comeback win in Italy.
Yeah.
When he went out and did his routine, I think that was probably the most magic moment in bodybuilding I've seen at all. And there was even Jack Sullivan, who was head judge.
Yeah.
He did a real long post about that, how Nathan walked out, how dominant that was, what a joy that was, and that exactly is what bodybuilding should be.
Yeah.
There you see it works.
Mm-hmm.
When you do that, Yeah. So that's sometimes one of those factors why people really make that huge jumps between prejudging and evening. Yeah. In Martin's case, I did change a little bit, because I immediately saw that there is it was our first time, and what I wanted first, because I knew Vito is bigger than him.
Yeah,
I wanted to bring him as full as possible, which worked out really, really well.
Yeah,
he was full as a house, so it was easy in the evening to get him a little bit more conditioned.
Yeah, I listened to the podcast that he did, and I think he dropped like a couple of pounds from prejudging to finals.
Yeah,
just a sharper
yeah,
look than the more. Yes. Yeah, but you got the job done with obviously bringing him full and bubbly for the prejudging.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that was also, I immediately wrote as feedback, I want that you post that and that and that different, which actually happened then also. I said, I want you to be a little bit more conditioned.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that,
I saw the posing tweaks. I think there was like the side tricep was different. There's a few poses that I saw.
Yes, and especially which made a huge difference was he really focused more on control of the quads, and he really more often showed the striations and the quality of his quads, because actually Vito has that deep separations, and you are not allowed to fall off too far from that, which he has genetically better. But when he fully contracts the quads, also Martin's are fucking incredible, and he needed to show that.
Yeah, that was sick. I was while you were talking about like the learning your client and knowing how to pull the strings. So that's something I've witnessed myself, just with like coaches that I like, my coach, for instance, and just knowing how they operate with their clients. I think that's ultimately, you can know all the tricks of the trade in terms of like your nutrition training and everything, PEDs or whatever. But I think if you know how people work and operate, that's what makes a good coach more than anything. That's how the relationship work. Yeah.
Actually, bodybuilding isn't nuclear physics. It's quite easy, and you need, as a coach, you need to get in the heads of the people. Then it turns out to work quite well.
Yeah, just got to get in their head.
Yeah,
just get in their head. Martin, I was listening to the podcast, and he said about the amount of food that he was still on, because him and hers were like completely different ends of the spectrum in terms of like Martin was like no cardio or 6 weeks out and 600 carbs a day or something, and hers was kind of like the complete opposite of that, I think he was saying on the podcast. So how long did it take you to kind of learn the difference in terms of like what Martin can take in terms of his food?
Today shows me tomorrow.
Today shows you tomorrow.
Yes, because other rules. For example, we had preps with Urs where he was able to eat double. So I never look back. Never.
So it's just all like live in terms of like what you're going through. Of course, that makes perfect sense.
Yes.
How long?
Even with, for example, Wesley. First prep with Wesley I did, he had to go down to 1,600 calories.
On the way.
For the Arnold's, lowest was 4,200.
And what's the difference?
I was shocked by myself that works.
What was the time difference in those from like the lows?
2.5 years.
That's a mad amount of food difference, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And next time can be different again. So, I take the off season, then I do my adaptations, and then I just take a look what happens and take a look and read between the lines.
Yeah.
I think I'm really sensitive how recovery works, how big of a role that plays, and then I do daily changes. That's so funny because, as I said, bodybuilding is no rocket science. And when I start working with someone, it's just basic. Training is basic and nutrition is basic because it just doesn't have to be something special. And then some people who I would now say don't understand the sport at all, always come and say, I thought that's more personalized. What the fuck should there be more personalized? Eat your fucking meals and do your fucking training. And then when it develops, then comes the personalization, because I do decisions. My job is doing decisions. My job is not writing a gourmet nutrition plan or fancy shit training with pulling from that and coming to there and what the fuck. That's not bodybuilding. That's actually also not that how bodybuilding works. And you will be really disappointed if you think that that's the way how bodybuilding works. Bodybuilding is consistency and doing decisions at the right time. And doing that decision is personalized because, as you see, the routes people go, it's just very, very, very different.
Yeah. Well, let's hope for Wesley's sake that if it does change next prep, hope it doesn't go back down to 1,600 calories like he was on before.
For him, I think he's one of those guys who just doesn't care.
Yeah. He just gets it done. Just gets it done. Yeah. And he's on that trajectory now, isn't he? It's like, because he's been knocking on the door for some time. His name has always been like in the mix. To see obviously this year him kind of just.
We both thought that the Arnold's would be the biggest chance he will get in the sport. The problem is, his physique always was outstanding and very special. Yeah, I think we all would agree that he is different than anybody else. He is not comparable to anyone because he's such a special but incredible look. And he never got compared to the top 5 elite. Because at the Olympia, he was in the first call-up, but it was a 10-people call-up with standing on the round. Never really placed next to, for example, Ramon or next to Urs. Right. And always everybody said his legs are too small. I always thought, what the fuck are they talking about? And this time at the Arnolds, you were able to see him first time standing next to Ramon and actually seeing bigger legs than Ramon.
Yeah. When he was actually next to him, you could compare. Yeah. Yeah.
That's people still say Wesley has no legs. Okay, his hamstrings are not good, and from the back we need to be more development. But when it comes to the legs from the front, what the fuck are you talking about? His legs are incredible from the front.
Yeah. Well, he's putting those to bed anyway now, because obviously he's owned it this year.
Yeah,
it's exciting. It's very, very exciting. So what's obviously Wesley's going to be there. Is 𝘗𝘗𝘰𝘶 qualified for the O?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so
he won. You are qualified as top 3 Olympian top anyway, which he was.
Yeah.
Then he won Prague.
What day was Prague? That was like back.
After the Olympia, he won Texas. So actually, he is 3-time qualified.
There we go. If it was just the next 3 years.
He's at the moment qualified for the Olympia is Diogo, who won the Arnolds also in Ohio, man physique. I work with him since 4 years.
Okay.
Something about that. We've always been in the top 5 at the Olympia. Before, he was never in the top 10. Then Urs, Wesley, Martin, and Emanuele are already qualified.
All right. So that's a nice little lineup you got.
I had some two others, but I split up with them.
Okay.
A classic physique guy and a wellness girl. So actually, it's now 18th April, and I would have had 7 Olympia qualifications right now, but 5 are left.
Yeah. How while you've just brought that up there in terms of like you've gone separate ways with clients, how does that affect you, like as a coach? Do you take that personally or?
It totally depends. When you are a coach, you get friend with somebody, or you are just client. When I'm friend with somebody, I get upset because it hurts me.
Yeah.
When they are clients, it's rational, because for example, in one particular example, we just have different views how things should be. I'm just not the guy who lives with his athletes in a flat with a big commune and cooking all together. I'm not the kind of guy. And if that person needs that, that's totally fine. But that's nothing I can give, and that leads just to frustration.
They're looking for a babysitter. They're not an actual coach.
Which is okay. But I won't be the person who will give that.
Yeah. No, I get that. And sometimes
for example, in the other example, when I think that psychological work would be needed, because that is the most important thing for progression. And the people always go the same road and the same step and not investing in those kind of work, which could be very, very important. We all know how brutal that sport can be. We all know how tough that sport can be. And we all know how important mental health and all that stuff is. And the people just always push it away. And you are saying, hey, come on, that's a big deal. And I'm afraid that that will keep you back or something worse happens. Then sometimes people can stand that and leave you to the 𝘗𝘱𝘱𝘭𝘮𝘭𝘮.
Yeah, I think people like to cover that.
I'm even, no matter if it's body wise or psychological wise, I'm never afraid to point out what I think which must be worked on.
Yes. Yeah. You're just honest.
And then there are people who deal with it, or people who are not good with dealing in it. And then when you're not good with dealing in it, it's better to separate ways. You know?
That's what I was about to say. I was like, people like to just cover up the cracks, pretend it's not happening, and pretend it's not there, and focus on the prep to divert their attention away from that type of stuff. But then that's still there once prep is done, and probably in a worse place than when it was before prep, I guess. What's so you're in Vienna, right?
I live in Vienna, yes.
Yeah. What's the bodybuilding culture like there, compared to like the UK or around the world where else you go? Is it like a hardcore bodybuilding place, or is it more of the social influence?
We had for sure with Arnold, we have a very old tradition.
Yeah.
But actually it's an up and down. I'm happy to see that much more normal people train than before. But when it comes to bodybuilding, we are totally lost.
Totally lost. Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a shame, isn't it? Because obviously with the heritage and the legacy of Arnold,
it's compared to Great Britain, for example, it's totally lost. Yeah,
that's mad to think, really. What do you think of when you come to the UK in terms of the culture, the bodybuilding culture over here? Is it like...
I really like it there because, there I always see people who really love it,
Yeah.
Austria is small. What do we have? I think 6, 7 or 8 million people.
Okay. Yes.
And it's hard for me to tell you more than 5 people who are really passionate.
Wow.
And not doing bodybuilding because it's a trend or they want to be on social media or something like that,
Yeah. That's what I found when I went to FIBO. That was my first time to FIBO, and FIBO reminded me of Body Power. I'm not sure if you ever went to Body Power when it was in the UK.
No, I've never been there. I've been on the last Arnold Classic UK from the Body Power guy.
Yes.
So that I've seen, but when it was called Body Power, I've never been there.
Yeah, so it was more of, Body Power once was like a more hardcore bodybuilding kind of expo, but gradually over time, it kind of, if it was a bit fluffy, and it was a bit more social media influencer driven. And I found that over in FIBO was that it was compared to like the hardcore environment of the UK. Yes, there was pockets of hardcore bodybuilding over in FIBO, but there was also a lot of more influencers, and I get it because that's where the money is.
Yeah, in Austria it's the same. So
yeah,
it's always for me very cool to see people like 𝘗𝘭𝘰𝘵 or for sure Jordan or a lot of those really, 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 really passionate guys who made the industry better with the things they do.
Definitely,
in a good way.
Yeah.
We don't have such characters here.
Yeah, that's a shame. Maybe in time. Maybe you're the guy that's got to do it, Steph. You're the person that's got to take charge of it over in Austria.
As you see, I'm not the biggest social media fan at all, so
you're reserved there. No?
I really love what I do, and that's coaching.
Yeah,
and you can imagine, or you have seen how much energy runs in that. There is just nothing left.
There's nothing left
there's nothing left for anything else.
But if you're passionate about the coaching, if that is your number one passion, then you've got to do where your passion lies.
Yeah. Yes.
What's your while we're on the topic of like hardcore training wise, what's your approach to training like? Have you got the volume kind of training, or do you change it up for each client?
No, I definitely by myself always was the intensity thing. Yeah. It's not that I would say volume doesn't work, but I have in my logical mind. There are a few things which for me, and I think they just make sense. For me as a coach, it's a very, very, very good proof if somebody does it good, if it works with low volume. The point is, for me, overall, is the contraction of the muscle over its full range of motion. Yeah. That for me is the basic.
Yes.
Over the last 20 years, I would say 80% of all people who train out there, including pros and everything else, can contract their muscles the way they should. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about speed or whatever. It's not about speed.
Yeah.
It's also not about the perfect form. It's about the perfect contraction. The fucking muscle just will grow when you are able to contract it the right way. Mm-hmm. It's not about the exercise or something else. It's about the contraction. Yeah. So that's the base.
Yeah. Okay?
When I give someone a low volume training and he tells me I don't get a pump, I know the contraction is shit. Because if the contraction is right, after 3 reps, the muscle will be full. Mm-hmm. If a guy tells me, just 2 sets per exercise and just 8 sets totally, I'm not exhausted at all, I know intensity is shit.
Yeah, makes sense.
When he needs volume to be beaten up, I know that he is beaten up because of the whole thing he did.
Yeah.
But he's not beaten up because of the contraction or the usage of the target muscle.
Yeah, yeah.
So I need that a little bit as a tool for feedback to know where the people stand, because the biggest mistake, I would really say 80%, is still people can't contract their target muscle.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that's the point, and that's something they have to learn and they have to invest in it. And it's so funny, really. In bodybuilding, if the exercise isn't feeling well, what does the bodybuilder do? He's doing another exercise and he's not going to the problem.
Yeah.
In every other sport, people are practicing one particular thing forever. If you are a tennis player, you're doing your forehand for years.
Yeah.
You don't say, my forehand isn't good, I just play backhand now.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never heard it put that way. And it's really, really obvious when you put it like that.
You will be the best bodybuilder possible if you learn to be the best in every single exercise. And that doesn't mean a lot of exercises. The basic just fucking work. For sure, some machines make it easier, blah, blah, blah. But just be perfect in the thing which you do and then fucking do it as intense as it is possible.
Yeah.
Because when 80% don't contract, right, 90% have no idea of intensity.
Mm. Yeah.
And intensity is not yelling loud around the gym and using all muscles the body has to move the weight.
Yeah.
Intensity is to be that strong in the fucking mind to keep a movement until the target muscle has no chance to move anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
That's intensity, which really drives you to the best way of yourself. And there's such a nice Dorian Yates quote. He said, I needed 10 years to recognize that 2 sets are enough. And I needed 10 other years to recognize 1 would be enough.
Mm.
Low volume isn't for everyone because you have to be so mentally strong and your movement has to be so perfect that actually works. So most people need more volume, but the idea behind should be to use as least volume to totally kill yourself.
Yeah.
That's my, I would say, vision of perfect training.
Yeah, and it makes complete sense. Like you said, it's like that tennis analogy that you just used. It makes perfect sense. But unfortunately, we We can't put that on Instagram, so we need to look at strength curves and everything else and fluff it up. Nathan was telling me, actually, because we are planning on obviously coming over to yourself soon, I think, to get some filming content and of you training him. And he was telling me after we'd left you in the airport, he was saying that you fuck him up. differently. He's like, I'm fucking battered after I've trained with him. So yeah, for him to say that, because obviously Nathan's always trained hard, and I've witnessed it as well. So for him to say that obviously shows that you're, you know what you're talking about there, like.
I really can be nasty, and I have quite fun of
yeah. You enjoy it, like in an evil way.
You know why all that went out? That I started bodybuilding with a torn chest, a broken shoulder, a broken collarbone, a broken spine, a part artificial knee.
Right.
So when I started training, I really had to think about how it could work.
Yeah.
Because I was so damaged before.
Was that after the car crash you mentioned, was it? Or
no, the car crash was during bodybuilding. My mother once said, at the moment that boy was able to run, he ran somewhere against.
He just kept on getting hurt. What did you used to do when you were a child in terms of sport? Do you have a sporting background?
Yeah, I never was successful. As every Austrian, because I come from the mountains, so I'm a farmer boy.
Yeah.
I was born on skis.
Oh, okay.
So I was born on skis. I did ski. Then I switched when I was 10 to snowboard.
Yeah.
The first professional sport I did was mountain biking. I was doing mountain bike races from 10 to 14.
All extreme
so
sports, please.
Yeah, that was actually the sport where my damages are from.
From the mountain biking, yeah. Do you still do it now? Do you have time?
No, I still have the bike, but I've not sat on it. I think since 1995.
Wow! So it's gathering dust.
Then I quitted sport totally and went to my other big passion, which is music. I was playing in a black death metal band for nearly 10 years.
Right, okay.
And that was the time I got really fat. And that was also the point. Yeah, that was also the point where my brother, I think in 2001, bought me to Christmas membership for the gym.
Because you were so...
because I was so fucked up. And I had 110 fat kilogram in January or at Christmas.
Yeah.
And I reduced it to 69 until April.
Wow, 4 months?
Yeah, and I was able after that 4 months to squat 150 kilograms. I was able to deadlift 150 kilograms until that point. So it worked out quite good.
Yeah. So you got...
And my passion for that sport was actually because I was a fucked up rock and roll guy.
Yeah.
And as I said before, I never was good in all that sports where you need flexibility or being, how is it called?
Like agile and everything, yeah?
Yeah, all that stuff. But in bodybuilding, that easy movements...
Yeah.
Yeah. That somehow worked out, and I was totally infected by bodybuilding from 1 second to another. And then I was nearly finished with I studied medicine. I nearly finished.
Yeah.
And then I quit study because I thought I'm going to be a bodybuilder, which was total bullshit.
You're looking for pro card, road to pro.
No, nobody was talking about pros, but we couldn't even imagine.
No.
I just gave it up for the passion.
Wow, okay. Back in those days, what kind of year was this? Like in the early
2002.
Yeah, the early 2000s. Yeah, it's a different world then, isn't it?
I just wanted to train. I went to the gym in the morning and came back in the evening. Then I said, okay, I just work as a trainer at the gym. That's all I want to do.
Yeah. Mad.
Imagine my parents.
Oh yeah,
I was supposed to get a doctor.
And then you give it all up to go to the gym twice a day and not get paid. Yeah, I can imagine what they were thinking. It's quite relatable.
Somehow it turned out quite good, but it was freaky back then.
Well, those things, everything happens for a reason. So those decisions, whether that be you giving up medicine and going to the gym twice a day for no income, or even all the drama that happened where, the Boss of Outlaw was born, all that stuff, everything happens for a reason.
I really had the incredible luck of the best wife out there.
Yeah.
I met my wife 1999 in the anatomy room because she was also studying medicine.
Right, okay.
And she always backed me, no matter which nonsense I had in my head.
Mate, your story is so relatable to me. You would not believe it. I have a music background as well. So I used to DJ. I didn't play death metal. I was like hip hop and rap. So I used to DJ that. And then through the DJ and obviously late nights, eating shit food, I put a lot of weight on. And then I did a big weight loss journey for my 30th birthday 10 years ago now. And then through that journey, I got obsessed with bodybuilding, and obviously I'm competing myself. And also I've been with my partner for 20 years, and she's the backbone of me as well. So she puts up with all my shit that I go through. So
it's really, really, really very, very similar.
Yeah. So relatable, man. I mean, you'd never think it, but it is what it is. I can see that obviously, well, while we're on the topic of family, this past weekend you had your partner and your daughter with you as well. So I can see you're a devoted dad and husband. And obviously you said she's supportive. How do you manage being so busy with the coaching and juggling dad life, husband life? The balance.
I definitely, the point is I definitely did a lot of mistakes. So it's not that I'm far away from having it done perfectly.
Yeah.
Actually, I was quite shit in doing it. As I said, I do that since 20 years, not that intense right now, but if I reflect, I would say perhaps I'm happy with the last 8 months to year how I behave as a family man, because before I was too much self-focused.
Yeah. Was it a moment in time where you had to kind of sit back and have a word with yourself and say, I need to be that person?
Actually, there's also another thing. I'm Asperger autist.
You're a what?
I'm Asperger autism.
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
So I'm retarded. So actually, I'm also a little bit different than other people, and I go to therapy since more than 20 years, which is a huge part of my self-development and all that stuff. And I just constantly work to get better, and that was, I think, the thing which kept the family also together. But for me, the biggest family challenging thing is definitely that I'm always available. I haven't had one single free day, I would say, the last 10 years. The most time I get free is perhaps 3 or 2 hours a day when somebody died or something like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm always. But I learned that I need to put my phone away when we eat. I learned that I put my phone away, so I can do that right now. When it comes to me, I wouldn't do it because of the family, I do.
Yeah.
And I would also say my wife also is very successful in what she does.
Okay.
So we have both our own.
Yeah. You've both got your own things going on, so
that's good. And my daughter always was part a little bit of the bodybuilding world, so I was able to be dad and take her in my world, which made it a little bit more easy because she she traveled with me. She went when she was young. She went to the shows. So she always was part of that structure. Now it's a little bit tougher because she's 15, and 15 is not the most funniest age, I would say.
Yeah, no. Speaking of someone with a 15-year-old daughter myself, yeah, I know what you mean.
But we will deal with it.
Yeah, we just got to deal with it day by day. What you said about the today tells me tomorrow. That's exactly what you do with a 15-year-old daughter. Does she enjoy the bodybuilding, your daughter, when she comes to the shows and stuff like FIBO, etc.? Does she enjoy it, or is it more of a
bodybuilding? The coolest thing is, I would say she's the best judge on the planet.
Yeah,
and I ask her for advice.
Really?
Because since her first day, she was into bodybuilding.
Yeah, so she sees.
Even now, as we said, she's 15 and everything is more difficult.
Yeah.
But until she was 14, when I was at the Olympia or at the Arnold's, she was paying the live stream by herself, standing up middle in the night, even if you had school, not only watching the classes I have competitors in, she was watching the classes, everyone. She know every result. She was always judging all the stuff. When I ask her for feedback, when you coach people, sometimes you are a little bit blind.
Okay.
Because you see people always like you want to see them. But she is so fucking honest, and she is world champion in pointing out symmetry problems.
Yeah. That's incredible.
So she immediately sees, even in those fucking super hard classes like bikini or wellness, she's immediately seeing the flow isn't right. That's not well built together. There are condition differences. She really, really enjoys bodybuilding now. At the moment, not that much because 15.
Yeah.
But let's see how it comes back. But when I ask her, do you come with me to Portugal, Spain, or anybody else? She's first row always. Still wants to go there.
That's nuts. What would you say if she was to turn around to you and say that she wanted to do it herself and compete?
Oh, that's very unrealistic.
Yeah.
She doesn't like sports at all.
She's not into it in that way. Yeah. You never know.
She loves it you never know. She loves it from the visual side and from the sport side. And for sure, when you grow up with that, like it's just, I would say, the biggest part of our family.
Yeah. Okay. Well, would you support the decision if she was to do it? Because you're,
I will support any, and I always said, and actually I also always did support anything which makes her happy.
Yeah. That's
for me, maybe there's also a parallelity to you. I don't know. The biggest luck in life is having the ability to do which makes you happy.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say that. So, and my parents never understood that.
Yeah, relatable.
So I was under so big pressure always, and if you have that inside yourself, the feeling of that pressure don't match the expectations of your parents, or don't, they want something different. You always argue about that. That's the last thing I would want for my daughter.
Yeah.
And as I know that she is very clever and that she is not, one day dead, or just isn't able to reflect. She's very, very clever and very, very, very able to reflect. She will do her decision.
Yeah.
Whatever she wants to do.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's more that way that and that makes me a little bit sad. She has nothing which she has to that passion. So she has no way at the moment.
Yeah, she's 15 though. That will come in time, isn't it? That's like what I'm with mine. It's like I'd love her to be into this and into that, but you can't force it. You just let them land.
No.
And then
I just try to show as many things possible, you know.
Yeah. Well, you definitely shown her the world, mate. Because obviously I saw you taking it to Germany, etc. Something I found out this past weekend, mate, is your guilty pleasure of fashion. I didn't realize you were like so into your clothes and your brands, because conversations I've been part of with these LV bags and stuff, I'm like, these boys got too much money.
No, actually, my personal life will never happen on social media.
Yeah.
For example, when there are social media shootings or when we shoot something, I have different clothes on. I always push the things away because
you're not a flashy guy, are you?
No,
I know.
I'm flashy, but I'm not when somebody takes a look at me.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think.
So, but I'm a total freak when it comes to fashion, and when it comes to all that stuff, I go totally nuts.
I would never.
That's my passion.
I would never have said.
Yeah, because most of the time I just look like homeless.
Homeless. I didn't want to say that, but yeah, that was the word we were using on the weekend. Homeless. Yeah, I think, and now you've said that, you do that on purpose by the looks of it, that you just want to have that appearance because you're trying to stay away from being the flash guy, even though you love it.
I just don't like that, you know. I just don't. All those. I'm also car addicted. Nobody knows that, you know. I would never like the most Instagram people.
You're flashing the cash, buying cars with just rolls of banknotes. Yeah, no, you're not that.
Yeah, not my world.
No, that's mad though. So where has that always been a part of you in terms of the fashion? You've always been obsessed.
Always.
Because I can see your suitcase back with the Supreme logos and the stickers and everything.
Yeah.
This guy, because we talked about it in Germany, but then when I seen you in the airport going home and I seen your cases with all the stickers over them, I said, this guy is fully into it all, because I could see all the stickers all over the suitcases and all three of them.
Yeah. No, really, when I look back, even as a child, I always, you know, as an autistic person, you love different textures of color. You like different textures of fabric. You want to feel it. You want to see how it's built, how it's made, and you have a passion for quality, and you have a passion for craftsmanship.
Yes,
that's something which I just like, and besides my stressful job, taking a look, for example, what I'm gonna wear today or what I'm gonna buy is just my kind of holiday.
That's your thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's my kind of holiday.
When we were in the airport, I was wearing this. So this Heavy Duty is the guys that sponsor the podcast. So I'll talk about this because they're going to watch this. Because you came up to me and you were like touching the print, and you were like, "Oh my god, look!"
Exactly. Yeah. That are the kind of stuff I just like, you know, because I saw that's something I've not seen in that kind of style, and I really love it. Even if it's just a red written letters, but the way it's made is just a fucking cool idea, you know. And such things I love.
Yeah.
If somebody has an idea and is doing something which nobody has done before.
Yeah. You were straight on it. You were like,
I needed to touch it, how it feels.
Yeah, you need to touch it. That's class. Right. Okay. Well, with that, I think I don't want to take too much more of your time, mate, but I just want to ask you one question to end this podcast off.
Sure.
Because of kind of who you are, and I think where you stand morally, what would you want to be remembered for, mate? Once all the coaching and everything is said and done, what would Steph, Boss of Outlaw, want to be remembered for?
He was a nice guy and loved what he did.
Yeah. Passion? Yeah.
It's not only passion, it's just he was happy.
Yeah. That's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask for, isn't it? That you're happy.
I think, you know, that's something which comes with, I would say, with age. Are you also sitting sometimes in the airplane and take a look at the people and say, who is gonna die before, me or he?
Never had those two.
Because you get to that age over 40, you start to think, is the half-life a go already done? And
well, I'm about to approach that age myself, so I'll look at things differently in about 5 weeks' time, mate. That's funny. That is funny. But yeah, man, I thank you very much for your time today.
You're welcome.
It's been really cool to hear about you over the last 4 or 5 years, and then actually get to meet you and see you in action. And I think it was Italy last year where I first bumped into you in person. So I came over to you and I said, I just want to introduce myself as Magic Eye, and you already knew who I was, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Obviously through the JP connection. So shout out to Jordan for linking us up there. And then obviously again to know you, seeing what you're about, and just seeing that there's another good guy in the industry, mate, that's doing it because they love it, not because it's getting them likes and all the other bullshit that we see going on in the industry. So I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for your time. Hopefully see you in weeks when me and Mr. 𝘗𝘱𝘭𝘮𝘭𝘰𝘵 fly over for a training.
Yeah, he should push his Filipino-Jamaican ass to Austria.
I might have to try and jump in on a session, see what Nathan says.
Yeah.
Get put through it myself. But yeah, thank you very much, Steph. Thank you guys for watching this episode and listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out Steph and all of his clients cleaning up all over the world in competitions in every corner. And I shall see you on the next episode. Peace.